Finn was supposed to be the guy. He had the most original backstory in the entire trilogy, and they introduced him like he was about to reshape the whole galaxy. A stormtrooper who breaks his programming and defects mid-battle. That's not just a cool setup, that's character gold. But somehow, by the end of the trilogy, he was just the dude yelling other people's names while tripping over himself, like it was a Saturday morning cartoon. You remember that moment in the forest? Snow falling. Lightsaber in hand. Kylo Ren marching forward like an unhinged emo lumberjack. And there's Finn, breathing heavy, terrified, but standing tall anyway. That scene made it feel like we were witnessing the birth of a new legend. But then the story hits pause on him, and never really unpauses again. It's like giving someone the keys to a Ferrari, and then forcing them to take the bus. And the weirdest part is, nobody really talks about it. Sure, we all meme the Rey screams and the wasted lines. But there's a deeper sting here. Finn was built to be the heart of the sequels, and he ended up playing third fiddle to a mystery box and a broken GPS signal. They teased a Force Awakening and then acted like we imagined it, which, frankly, would have made more sense than the Rise of Skywalker's plot. You've got a guy with moral courage, military training, insane charisma, and a personal vendetta against the First Order. And what do they do with him? Send him on a side quest about space horses, while everyone else gets legacy lightsabers and destiny speeches. It's like writing Luke Skywalker into A New Hope, just to have him mop the floors on the Death Star. Congrats, you saved the janitor subplot. I get it, the sequels had a lot to juggle. New characters, old faces, galaxy-ending stakes, a corporate mandate to play it safe and sell toys. But Finn didn't need special effects to shine. He just needed screen time and a storyline that didn't treat him like a walking punchline. And instead of letting him lead, they buried him in noise and forgot to dig him back out. In this video, we're breaking down exactly why Finn should have been the main character all along, how his arc was designed to carry the heart of the trilogy, and how Disney dropped the ball so hard it hit hyperspace and never came back. When we first meet Finn in The Force Awakens, there's this electricity in the air, a stormtrooper who hesitates, a soldier trained to obey, suddenly choosing to run instead of kill. It's such a wildly fresh premise in a franchise built on chosen ones and desert orphans. For a split second, Star Wars looked like it was about to follow someone new, someone morally conflicted, someone trying to find himself rather than already knowing who he was. And then we get that moment. FN-2187 takes off his helmet, stares into the distance with haunted eyes, and boom. He's not just a soldier. He's a question mark in a galaxy that's full of answers that don't work anymore. It was bold, unexpected, and full of dramatic potential. What happens when the Empire's weapon chooses to stop being a weapon? That's not just a cool twist, it's a character blueprint for something meaningful. Think about it. Finn wasn't born into the fight like Leia. He wasn't some Force prodigy like Rey or Yoda. He was stolen from his family, stripped of identity, programmed to kill, and still had the courage to say no. That's a bigger act of rebellion than anything Poe did with a blaster. It's personal, it's dangerous, and it puts Finn in the dead center of what Star Wars has always been about, fighting tyranny from the inside out. There was so much room to explore his backstory. Where did he come from? Were there others like him? What does redemption even look like for someone who never had a choice? These aren't just side character questions, these are protagonist-level arcs, begging to be told. It was like having a golden ticket and deciding to stay in the lobby. So, why didn't they use it? Why was the most original setup in the sequel trilogy treated like a footnote after the first act? Let's be real. By the time The Last Jedi rolled around, Finn was basically demoted to comic relief and side quests. He wakes up in a leaking suit, fumbles around like a cartoon, and then gets shipped off on a casino mission that does absolutely nothing for the plot. That's not just bad writing. That's character assassination in slow motion. We're talking about a guy who literally rebelled against a totalitarian regime. And what does the script do? Toss him into a subplot that's more about space horse rights than anything to do with his trauma or growth. It's insulting, honestly. You don't set up a character as complex as Finn, only to turn him into the guy who yells Rey every 10 minutes and slips on wet floors. Even worse, every time Finn tries to make a decision, the movie yanks it away. In Force Awakens, he wants to run, and then gets forced back into the fight. In Last Jedi, he tries to sacrifice himself and gets tackled by Rose. In Rise of Skywalker, he wants to say something important to Rey, and the script just shrugs it off. He has no agency, no climax, no voice. There's a deeper sadness to Finn's story that goes beyond screen time or bad writing. It's about potential lost in plain sight. He had the heart of a hero, but never got the path of one. He was set up to lead us through the chaos of a new war, but ended up watching from the sidelines like an extra in someone else's destiny. Imagine being a character whose very identity is rebellion. Not because you're born into it or trained for it, but because you're broken by the system and choose to resist anyway. That's not just a great arc, that's a painful one, a lonely one. And Finn never got to truly feel that pain on screen. Not in a way that let us sit with it. The sequels gloss over what it means to defect from the First Order. No PTSD, no guilt, no questions about the lives he took, or the people he left behind. It's all skipped, brushed aside like it's inconvenient to the real plot. And in doing that, the film silenced a voice that could have grounded the entire trilogy in something raw and human. It hurts because Finn's arc was one of the few that could have added emotional weight to all the spectacle. A stormtrooper turning into a freedom fighter is the kind of transformation that deserves time, space, and heart. But the films were too busy chasing mystery boxes and nostalgia to notice the most powerful story was already in their hands. And John Boyega knew it. You could see it in his interviews, in his frustration, and how vocal he became about the mishandling of Finn's character. What's wild is that for a brief moment in The Force Awakens, Finn felt like the future of Star Wars. He wasn't a Skywalker. He wasn't a Jedi. He was us. Thrown into a war he didn't understand, forced to make impossible choices, and doing it anyway. He was the grounded lens through which we could see the galaxy all over again. That moment when he picks up the lightsaber against Kylo. Come on, he's terrified, outmatched, but still stands up to the dark side. That wasn't just a cool scene. That was a spark, a declaration that anyone, no matter their past, could rise to meet the moment. It gave us chills because it felt new and earned. And that duel in the forest, the blue saber glowing in the snow, Finn screaming and swinging with desperation. It was messy and real in a way we hadn't seen since Luke's first fight with Vader. It felt like the start of something epic, like this character was about to change the whole game. Even smaller moments stood out. His panic when escaping the First Order, his joy when piloting with Poe, his protective instinct around Rey. All of it added layers. Not just another action figure, but a person, trying to find meaning in a universe that chews people up and spits them out. For one shining act, Finn was everything Star Wars needed to evolve. The story of a survivor, a fighter, a lost soul becoming a leader. And then, it all just stopped. But here's the thing. Just because the movies failed him doesn't mean we have to. Finn's story isn't over, it's just untold. And in the age of animated spin-offs, new trilogies and streaming experiments, there's still time to do him justice. If Lucasfilm ever stops chasing trends and starts finishing what they started, imagine a series about defected stormtroopers. Finn helping others escape the First Order, training them, leading them, fighting not just battles, but systems. That's a show that writes itself. And better yet, brings something fresh to the table, instead of rehashing Jedi drama for the 100th time. And if he is Force-sensitive, show us what that journey looks like. Not instant mastery, not chosen one nonsense, but a slow awakening. A man who thought he was nobody, discovering he's always been something more. That's the emotional core missing from the sequels, and Finn is still the perfect character to carry it. He's got the humor, the heart, and the humanity to anchor a whole new chapter. He doesn't need to be the next Luke. He just needs to be the first real Finn. And if Disney has any sense left, they'll realize that redemption arcs don't just belong to villains. They belong to franchises too. There's an entire generation of fans who saw themselves in Finn and felt that potential vanish. But if Star Wars is about anything, it's about fighting to bring back the light. And Finn, more than anyone, still has a story worth shining. In the end, Finn is the character who symbolized everything new the sequel trilogy promised, and everything it failed to deliver. He could have been a revolutionary, a Jedi unlike any before him, a face for the voiceless in a galaxy full of control and cruelty. But instead, he was sidelined, gagged, and turned into a running joke. We were told these films were about legacy and reinvention. But Finn's arc shows us what happens when studios prioritize nostalgia over narrative, when they chase iconography instead of character, when they think representation is enough, without giving that representation anything meaningful to do, and that's the real heartbreak here. Finn didn't just deserve better, he was built for better. Built for greatness, complexity, courage, and change, and what he got was crumbs. He was never the comic relief. He was the emotional center, and they never let him breathe. Thank you for watching the whole video. I make videos because of my love for Star Wars and Marvel. I've been asked countless times how I get my subtitles, and I generate them automatically with a tool I built. That same tool can be used here on my website. It's completely free and doesn't require signing up. My website contains the subtitle generator that is perfect for any video. Blogging post, where you can sign up with your email and receive notifications for when I post, and also my 3 channels. Critical Analysis Hub focuses on Star Wars and Marvel movies. Critical Analysis Hub Plus looks at Star Wars and Marvel shows. and Critical Analysis Hub XP centers on video games like The Last of Us series, Jedi Survivor, and GTA 5. Thank you for being a fan.